Yo, it's Zero, and this is part 3 of What If Deku Had Liebe. I know you all have been waiting on it, so I made sure to deliver. In the last part, the villains had their first meeting and discussed when and how they would kill the symbol of peace, All Might, which leads into another arc that we'll see in this video. So, if you do enjoy this series, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to join the Discord as well. Without any more wait at all, let's get started.
Let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick. I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how I rock.
The next day, Akuma walks to school as usual. This time, there was more reporters than before, as someone come up to him asking about All Might, things like what kind of teacher is he, and a lot of other personal questions. Akuma notices that his demon was sitting on his shoulder. You could wipe them all off the face of the earth right now, you know that? I can't. Just do it. The smaller version of the demon touches his head, causing his eyes to turn red as small horns would start to grow and his teeth would become sharp. Through sheer willpower alone, he's able to control himself and then rush into the school. Instead of heading to his homeroom class, he goes off to find a teacher, which leads him to the pro hero All Might. The pro hero takes Akuma into his office and sits him down. Yes, you needed to see me about something? Yeah, it's about my quirk. Lately, it's been getting out of control, and it's becoming harder and harder for me to maintain myself. Can you tell me a little bit more? Yeah, it's kind of like my power relies on a darker, more mischievous side of me that tries to take over constantly. Well, does that book contain any ways on how to control it, or maybe any hints? Well, I'll take a look, but I've checked it out recently, and there was nothing much in it. Akuma then summons the book, but this time was different. In the presence of All Might, and with the touch of his finger, the book glows a hopeful blue. As the pro hero touches it, he gets flashbacks to All for One. But why would he get those memories now? Does Izuku have some connection to him? All Might then asks, "Do you know anything about your mother?" No, I'm sorry, I've just never met her. Akuma tries to smile, and he makes a face that gives All Might another memory. He tells Izuku to then leave the office, and he heads to his homeroom class. While he tries to figure something out, he calls in Principal Nezu to his office, and the two end up figuring out who his mother was. Pro hero Inko Midoriya. The resemblance was uncanny. Nezu then pulls up a report of her death, as she was killed by One for All. Well, no, she was killed by All for One after fighting him in this area here. He points to the screen, and All Might pulls up the data that they have on Izuku, as they realize his mother died not too far away from the orphanage that he now resides in. On record, it says her quirk was able to push and pull small and large objects, but that has nothing to do with Izuku's. All Might then stands up as the two would look at a picture of Izuku. All for One gave him that quirk, and if he's trying to take over his body using that quirk, All for One must be trying to use him as well. A stressful situation indeed, and now that he's here, there's no way for us to cancel out a quirk that stops other quirks unless we catch him off guard. Within the classroom of 1A, they would decide who their president was. Everyone nominates Izuku, but he declines the offer and says it's not his style, although he'll help when it's needed, which leads to Ida becoming the president and Momo as the vice president. The students then head to lunch soon after, attending some classes, and Akuma looks around for a place to sit after getting his food. As he walks around, he then hears his name being yelled out, "Hey Zuku, over here, sit with us." Akuma looks over to see Uraraka, Kirishima, and Ashido. He smiles at the thought of friends, which circulated in his mind. It's not like he had friends at his other school, thanks to Bakugo, but this was a brand new start for him, and This start couldn't be ruined by anything, or at least that's what he thought. The group starts to talk about their quirks, and it makes Akuma nervous. Since they've seen it a couple times, they don't really ask too much about it, which relieves him, as he did explain it a couple times to them. However, this is when the alarms of the school would go off and panic would start in the lunchroom as many of the students begin evacuating. Well, instead of evacuating, Akuma goes to the bathroom during the panic. He goes into a stall and sits down. The demon then shows itself in its black silhouette-like state. So we meet again. Yeah. What's your deal, man? Just let me have my body. The devil then does something that Akuma didn't think was possible. It grabs him by his hair and slams his face into the wall of the stall. We made a deal, remember? Power for your body. Doesn't that ring a bell? And I'd like to claim my side of the deal now. Akuma punches the demon out of the stall with his superhuman strength. So, you can still fight, brat. The demon shows its true form and starts to fight against Akuma. 10 minutes go by as All Might was walking around as he heard loud noises coming from the bathroom. As he walked in after knocking to see the demon and Akuma throwing punches at each other, as All Might knocked both of them out and takes them to the police. Akuma and the devil wake up in a room together with handcuffs on and their hands behind their backs. A detective walks into the room and then sits down. I'm glad to see both of you boys are up. Mind telling me your connections with this man? All for one, as he would slide a picture of him up to the table. Akuma looks at the man in the photo and he's completely confused, while the devil would turn his head. This causes many people to come into the room one after another and interrogate them, but the devil never says anything. It got to the point where one of the detectives would try to hit the devil, but Akuma jumps in the way, taking the fist to the jaw. I'm not gonna let you guys hit him and treat him like this. The detective would leave the room and tells All Might that it's pointless, but the pro hero tells him to wait, as it looks like the two are now talking. Why did you do that, brat? Why would you do that after all that I've done? I've tried to take over your body multiple times. Why wouldn't I? After all, you've been with me for so long. Even though you hate me, it's kind of like we're family. Shut your mouth. I was created to use you, not become your family. All Might's eyes would then widen at this statement, as Izuku would question, what do you mean use me? When All for One created me. Once you got older, I was supposed to take over your body and then kill All Might. Akuma paused for a moment. Well, what do you want to do with your life? Huh? Why ask me that? Well, you seem like you don't want to be evil. Do you want to become a hero with me? The devil looked at Akuma confused, and he didn't know what his answer should be, so he didn't answer. Hours go by, as the two were forced to stay in this room, and at night, Akuma woke up to the cries of the devil. The devil saw Akuma was awake, so he decided to finish the story. I was created by All for One, but before that, I was destroyed by him. I was the son of a regular, average family, but I was born with a quirk, a life-changing quirk that would guarantee me and my family a secure future. That is the one that you possess now. I swore upon my death that I would get revenge, but now I'm being used as his pawn. Akuma stood back up and broke his handcuffs with his strength, and then he did the same for the devil. Well, how about I help you out instead? Become stronger with me, and together, we'll destroy All for One. And after that, I promise to set you free and let your soul rest. The devil starts to cry even more, but stands up, shaking the hand of Izuku. My name is Liebe. And you know that means that you won't be able to become a hero after I leave or you set me free. Well, Liebe, I'm glad to have you fully on my side. Becoming a hero, well, once All for One is gone, then I don't have to worry about that, because I'm sure the new generation can handle it without me. As the two smiled, the grimoire appeared and flipped to a new page, as it would show both of them. Akuma read it, as it would say, Transformation 1 unlocked? What? Basic stage. I wonder what that is. Liebe then slapped him on the back of the head. You idiot, did you not read it? It's a transformation for you. But it looks like you only have 30 seconds with it, and it has a 10-minute cooldown. Wait, what? Where does it say that? Can you read stuff that I can't read? What are you talking about? Look, it's right here. Liebe would then point at it, but Akuma would see nothing. That's lame. You can read parts that I can't? Well, it looks like we were forced to be partners. Anyway, when do you think we'll get out of here? The day for the UA students would go on as usual, as they would go to the USJ. With Hiro, 13, and their homeroom teacher Aizawa. Many of them asked where Izuku was, but even their teacher had no answer until 13 would whisper and explain where All Might had been for the past couple of days. They go into the facility, and as 13 begins to explain each section and what being a hero truly means, all of the students would get excited to start their rescue training. However, villains warp into the area below them at the ground level, and Aizawa jumps down first to confront them. But as he does this, one of the villains warps back to the students and tries to separate them. Suddenly, a black and gray figure with horns and wings stands in the way and sends the villain back. He turns his head, revealing that he was Izuku. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything cool? Everyone was shocked, as his physical appearance was very different, and where did he come from? However, he turned into his regular green-haired human form shortly after, as Liebe would appear on his shoulder and slapped his face, making him turn a little bit and leaving a little mark. This wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have taken a wrong turn. Do you even know directions, brat? Yeah, whatever. We made it, so it doesn't matter now. The two then turns their heads to realize that the rest of the class can now see Liebe. The two then say that they'll explain later, as the students would still be warped all over the USJ anyway. Akuma realizes that he's in water, but he's saved by Froppy, who would also grab Mineta out of the water as well. Akuma looks around in the water and realizes that Liebe is not with him. Far away in a different part of the USJ, Liebe was seen with Momo and her group, as Froppy would ask if Izuku can still fight without him, but he stands up smiling, summoning his grimoire, which would appear in front of him. I assure you I'm more than capable. They would formulate a plan, and they execute it. First, Akuma creates a tornado within the water using one of his spells, which then leads Mineta to throw balls into the water, which would catch the villains, and Froppy would take them off of the boat after, and they get to shore, where they would find an exit. But Akuma wants to go help their teacher, realizing he was fighting more villains than any of them. And when they arrive, all three of them see a bird-like creature crushing their teacher, as Akuma then sees the hand of someone about to touch his face. In a split second, he activated the negation zone, which pushed Froppy and Mineta away from him, and it was only him and Shigaraki within it. Shigaraki would walk to the side of it and touch it, trying to destroy it, but he couldn't. What is this? Don't worry about that. Just know, you can't win in here. Well, unless you're physically stronger than me. The Nomu leaves Aizawa on the ground and tries to break the black dome, but each time it hits it, all of his strength quirks, or like superhuman abilities, were nullified. Akuma then looks at Shigaraki, who was still confused, and then punches him in the face. I've been waiting to hit someone that hard for a long time, so thank you. Shigaraki then tries to use his quirk as he grabs Akuma's wrist, but nothing happens, leading him to get hit by an uppercut which sends him into the air and back down, as eventually Akuma would get tired of beating him up, so he just knocks him out and then releases the barrier, only to see that the Nomu was right there and would attack him. Akuma dodged the attack and flipped over to see Froppy, telling her to grab their teacher and find Liebe so that he can heal him. She nods and hops over the fight, and the Nomu's placed into a negation zone after trying to grab Froppy, and it's with Akuma, but it still proceeds to attack him. However, he's able to keep up without its super speed, but for some reason, Akuma, he can't do any damage. And it looks like the Nomu has multiple quirks, so it's hard for his zone to target the specific one he needs in order to gain and do damage and stop his super speed and strength at the same time, which did give the Nomu an advantage, and Akuma is caught off guard by the creature and slammed into the ground where his arm was then broken, which forced him to release the zone without his concentration. The Nomu stood over Akuma, and an awakened Shigaraki would yell out to kill the kid now. The Nomu pulls his fist back and prepares to slam it, crushing Izuku's head, but another person who just arrived in time would stop it. All Might stood at the ready to fight the Nomu, and with everything he's got, well, he did give his quirk away, but he hasn't had many encounters, and since he didn't fight the villains, he wasn't as tired, so he is a little stronger. Well, actually, let me think. Okay, actually, he gave his quirk away. I'll keep that. I wrote in my script that he didn't, but I feel like it's more convenient for Mirio to have it already. So, but the pro hero pushes the bird-like creature away from Akuma, who manages to stand and find Liebe via like a telepathic wave. You feel me? Liebe heals Akuma and then hops back on his shoulder in a smaller form. Our 10 minutes are up, so let's go all out, Izuku. Yeah, you're right. Let's go help All Might. The transformation begins as Akuma's skin turns gray and his eyes red, along with darkness covering up most of his body, accompanied with his horns and wings. The Nomu is about to hit All Might in the face, but it's then uppercutted by Akuma in his devil transformation as the Nomu looks up surprised while Akuma would float higher into the air smirking. And this is where I'll end part 3 of the series. Do you guys think that Izuku's devil transformation and All Might's help will be enough to compete with the Nomu, or will he reach his time limit before the battle is over, resulting in his death? Well, we'll get to see all of that in part 4 of this What If. But if you guys want me to make that happen, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, night, or evening, as this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.